She is tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt me. I am in no humor at present to give consequence to young ladies who are slighted by other men. Can you imagine saying this out loud to someone? If you were a middle-class woman in 19th century England, you probably wouldn't dream of saying anything like this in public. Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice focuses on this dilemma of wanting to fulfill your personal desires, have independence of thought, and find love while needing to stay secure and well-mannered in a society bound by social class. The protagonist, Elizabeth Bennet, has always wanted to make decisions for herself, but having 4 other sisters and an aging estate, she must find a wealthy husband before the family ends up in poverty. Now, as a polite, fairly attractive woman, that might not be difficult, but being the lively, self-defining person she is, she quickly rejects quite a few proposals, not because of the man's wealth or appearance, but because of his character. However, Elizabeth has her own prejudices as well, and her recognition of that allows her to see people in a different light and try to find someone she's truly happy with. Throughout the novel, Elizabeth deals with those who want her to adhere to the standards of finding a spouse and those who are simply a product of the rigid social hierarchy, such as Darcy, who was prideful enough to say the earlier quote, yet caused Elizabeth to question her own preconceptions. In my opinion, this dynamic between such an egotistical rich man and a blunt, biased, middle-class woman makes Pride and Prejudice pretty enjoyable, yet still informative of the tension within a society formed upon class. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. But what kind of wife? And if you were a woman, would you take just any rich man? If you were in Elizabeth's position, how would you confront society's expectations along with your personal goals? So, for my creative component, I made a small drawing that basically depicts Darcy, Elizabeth, and their relationship in 2 forms. The shadowy figures in the middle represent how their society expects them to behave, which is with manners and without truth, while the colored figures to the sides are what Darcy and Elizabeth really are, prideful and prejudiced. Darcy has a crown over his head, which symbolizes his initial arrogance and tendencies to belittle others because of their appearance and social class. And Elizabeth has a little tornado cloud over her head, and she's closing her eyes in frustration, which obviously means that she has no care at all for Darcy because of her biased opinions of him. Although this is a very simple illustration, I think it portrays the main plot and themes of Pride and Prejudice pretty well, since it ties in not only Elizabeth's and Darcy's opinions of each other, but also society's point of view. Further, it represents the theme that really everyone has 2 distinct versions of themselves. The true version with deeply personal viewpoints and motivations, and the silhouetted version with societal influences and expectations.